Welcome to the instructional training video on the Assure model. This brief video has been designed to provide an overview of this instructional design model. By the end of the training, you will have reviewed the foundational theory, history, the steps, description, advantages and disadvantages of the model. The Assure model was designed by Sharon Smaldino, James Russell, Robert Heinich, and Michael Molenda to be a systematic guide to assist designers and facilitators in developing instructional units that specifically focus on integrating technology and media. Since learning is such a complex process, theorists have produced many theories, such as behaviorism, cognitivism, and constructivism. These theories have greatly influenced the development of instructional design models. The Assure model is an instructional design model that is commonly used in classrooms and incorporates Gagnon's 9 events of instruction. Today, Robert Gagnon continues to influence instructional designers in the field of education, military, business, and industry. For this reason, professionals in the field of instructional design need to have profound knowledge of different models and the ability to select a model that is effective to overcome an instructional problem. Furthermore, the field of instructional design continuously changes as more learning theories and technological innovations emerge and instruction shifts from teacher-centered to learner-centered. One of those models with a strong instructional design foundation is the Assure model. It is reflected upon as a landmark approach. The model is designed to help you effectively integrate media or technology into your lesson or presentation to help assure learning. The focus of the model is to improve teaching and learning by using a step-by-step process to help write and design a complete course or unit while incorporating technology. This model is designed to identify flaws that can still be corrected in order to assure effective instruction. Now we are going to overview each step of the Assure model. The Assure model is an acronym that stands for Analyze the Learner Characteristics, State Objectives, Select Modify, and Design Strategies and Materials, Utilize Technology and Materials, Require Learner Response, and Evaluate. The first step in the Assure model is to describe your target audience. There are general characteristics such as age, educational level, socioeconomic status, gender, and ethnicity. There are also more specific characteristics, prior knowledge, skills related to the topic, attitudes toward the topic, and preferred learning style. Objectives are stated to explain what the learner will do as a result of the instruction. Consider using the ABCDs. For audience, begin with the intended audience. For behavior, explain the behavior that will be demonstrated as a result of your instruction. The C and D of the ABCDs are as follows. For conditions, under what conditions will the behavior be observed? Where will it take place? For degree, the degree of proficiency needs to be decided upon before allowing the learner to complete the instruction. To close the performance gap, the designer needs to select, modify, or design materials for the instruction. Designers need to consider both the instructional strategies and technology, media, and materials necessary to complete the unit. Once the materials have been selected, now they must be implemented. Be sure to test the materials before beginning the actual instruction, arrange a location and proper seating, and prepare both electronic and non-electronic materials. To gauge what learners have gained from the instruction, they must use the materials. Observations should occur during the training so that the facilitator can provide feedback and determine if the performance gap is being closed. Engaging with the materials will ensure that the learners gain more knowledge and have a positive experience. After the instruction has been delivered, the designer should evaluate if the process was successful in closing the performance gap. If a gap still exists, then the designer needs to evaluate the unit and conduct revisions. Then, once revisions are made, the lesson should be implemented again if deemed appropriate. The Assure model, like any design, has its strengths and weaknesses. Although the Assure model was not designed for classroom purposes, many of the advantages and disadvantages relate to the field of education. The advantages include step-by-step instructions for instructors to see the pros and cons of the lesson, provided lesson planning foundation with opportunities for creativity, and computer software and external resources can be utilized for various purposes. The disadvantages include use of online information in lessons may not always be credible, technologies may be limited in quantities, and the model does not have a phase to evaluate if instruction is required to close a performance gap. The Assure model is mostly used in the field of education. An example of the use of this model can be seen in Russell's research in improving technology implementation. In Russell's research, teachers attended a workshop to prepare their lessons with the Assure model. Teachers began by analyzing the needs of their students by asking various questions, such as, what do students know and need to know? What strategies are beneficial for my students? Teachers then used the ABCD approach to state their instructional goals and objectives. Recall from the Assure model steps that the ABCD approach stands for audience, behavior, conditions, and degree. Teachers then selected educational software and instructional methods that were appropriate for their grade level. During the workshop, they were required to create appraisal checklists for software within each school corporation to evaluate their choices of software. During the workshop, teachers were informed they would need to use their choice of software with their students. This was demonstrated to teachers with an example of how to use one computer per class. Teachers were also informed that they would need to require their students to participate with computers in the classroom. Afterward, teachers would need to evaluate and revise their lessons based on student feedback and achievement. In Russell's research, teachers took their developed lessons and implemented them into their classrooms. As a result, student-centered lessons were created and computer usage in the classroom increased. This concludes our presentation over the Assure model, giving an overview of all of its components, foundation, strengths, and weaknesses. Now we challenge you to take into action during planning to transform learning in your work area.